In a small forgotten village in Madhya Pradesh, there lived a man named Ramchandra Sharma. He was not a rich man. He did not own big lands or a fancy house. His only work was pulling a rickshaw every day from morning until night. The sun would beat down on his back, and the rains would soak his thin clothes. He earned just enough money to feed his family. It was a simple life, a hard life. Ramchandra was a kind man with a quiet smile. He saw the struggles of his neighbors and felt their pain as his own. He wanted to do something for his village, but he did not know what. He felt small, like a single grain of sand on a vast beach, unable to change the tide. The village lived in a world of darkness once the sun set. There was no electricity. The children could not study after evening fell. Their books would lie closed, waiting for the morning light. The women cooked dinner in the faint glow of kerosene lamps, the smoke stinging their eyes and dirtying the walls of their small huts. Villagers were afraid to walk outside at night. The darkness hid snakes and other dangers on the narrow, muddy paths. Life seemed to stop when the day ended. The people of the village had asked for electricity many times, but their pleas were like whispers lost in the wind. They had lost hope that light would ever come to their homes. Without electricity, progress was impossible. The farmers could not use modern tools. The small shops had to close early. The village felt disconnected from the rest of the world, trapped in a cycle of poverty that seemed to have no end. People accepted this as their fate. They believed that some were born to live in light, and others, like them, were destined for a life in the shadows. They worked hard during the day, but at night, a heavy blanket of stillness and resignation would cover the entire village. It was a life of waiting, a life of accepting, but not a life of true living. Ramchandra saw all of this every single day. As he pulled his rickshaw, he carried not just passengers but also the weight of his village's problems in his heart. He saw the tired faces of the mothers and the unread books of the children. He heard the sighs of the old men who wished for a brighter future for the next generation. He often wondered, is this all there is to our lives? Are we meant to struggle forever in this darkness? He did not have any answers. He was just a humble rickshaw puller. But inside his simple heart, a small seed of a question had been planted, a question that would soon grow into a giant tree of change. One afternoon, while resting near a stream that flowed at the edge of the village, Ramchandra watched the water. The stream was not very big, but it flowed with a steady energy. It gurgled and rushed over the smooth stones, never stopping, always moving forward. He saw a leaf fall into the water and get carried away quickly by the current. He thought about the power in that moving water. It was a force of nature, tireless and free. An idea as small and bright as a firefly began to flicker in his mind. What if this water could be used for something more than just washing clothes or drinking? What if its energy could be captured? He remembered seeing a water wheel in a picture book long ago. It was a simple machine that turned with the flow of water. The idea stayed with him. He had no formal education. He had never studied science or engineering. He could barely read or write, but he had a curious mind and hands that were skilled from years of fixing his own rickshaw. He thought, if the water can turn a wheel, can that turning wheel do something useful? Can it make light? The question seemed foolish at first. The engineers in the big cities built huge dams for electricity. How could he, a poor rickshaw puller, do anything like that? The idea did not leave him. It followed him as he pulled his rickshaw through the dusty lanes. With every push of the pedal, the image of a turning wheel spun in his head. He started looking at things differently. He saw old bicycle parts not as junk, but as possible tools. He looked at discarded pipes not as waste, but as channels for water. His mind, once filled with worries about his daily earnings, was now buzzing with possibilities. He felt a strange excitement, a feeling he had not felt in a long time. It was the excitement of a new purpose, a challenge that was bigger than himself. He decided he had to try. He knew people might laugh at him. They would call him a dreamer, a madman. His wife was worried. She asked, "How can you do this? We have no money. You have no knowledge." Ramchandra simply replied, "I do not have money or knowledge, but I have eyes to see a problem and hands to try and fix it. The stream is free, the scrap is free, my effort is free. What do we have to lose by trying?" His determination was quiet but strong, like the steady flow of the stream that had inspired him. He was ready to turn his simple observation into action. Ramchandra began his project with nothing but his own 2 hands and a powerful idea. He walked around the village and nearby towns collecting things that others had thrown away. He found an old bicycle wheel, its spokes bent but its frame still strong. He picked up long pieces of plastic pipe that were lying on the side of the road. From a scrapyard he got a small dynamo, the kind used for a bicycle light, paying for it with a day's earnings. He gathered wooden planks and tin sheets. To others it was a pile of junk. To Ramchandra it was the beginning of a dream. His small hut turned into a workshop filled with possibility. The work was slow and difficult. There were no instruction manuals to guide him. His only teacher was trial and error. He first built a simple paddle wheel using the wooden planks and attached it to the bicycle rim. He placed it in the stream, but the current was not strong enough to turn it properly. He did not give up. He changed the shape of the paddles. He adjusted the angle. He failed many times. The wheel would wobble, or it would turn too slowly. Some villagers watched him and shook their heads, whispering that he was wasting his time. But Ramchandra did not listen to them. He only listened to the sound of the water and the voice of hope in his heart. He used the plastic pipes to create a narrow channel, forcing the water to flow faster and hit the paddles with more force. This small change made a big difference. The wheel began to spin with strength and consistency. Next, he had to connect the spinning wheel to the dynamo. He used the chain from an old bicycle to connect the axle of the water wheel to the tiny dynamo. It was a simple but clever system. When the water turned the big wheel turned the chain, and the chain spun the small dynamo at a very high speed. He worked day and night, forgetting to eat, forgetting to rest. His passion was his fuel. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. He took a small light bulb and connected it to the dynamo with 2 wires. His hands trembled slightly as he made the final connection. He watched the water flow, the wheel turn, the chain move, and the dynamo spin. And then it happened. A soft, gentle glow appeared in the bulb. It was not very bright, but it was light. It was a steady, beautiful light, born not from a big company or a government project, but from the flowing stream and the determination of one simple man. Ramchandra looked at the glowing bulb, and his eyes filled with tears of joy. It was the most beautiful light he had ever seen. That first small light bulb changed everything. Ramchandra did not keep the success to himself. He worked to make his system better, making the light stronger. Soon he was able to generate enough power to light up a few bulbs. He ran wires from his small hydro plant to his neighbors' huts. For the first time, light filled their homes after sunset. Children gathered around the single bulb in each house, their faces bright with wonder, and opened their school books to study. The women could now cook and sew without straining their eyes in the smoky darkness. The village was no longer a place of fear at night, it was a place of community. The news of Ramchandra's invention spread like wildfire. The same people who had doubted him now came to see his creation with respect and admiration. They saw that a rickshaw puller, a man they considered ordinary, had done something extraordinary. He had brought light to their lives. His success was not just about electricity, it was about inspiration. Young people in the village started looking at their surroundings differently. They saw that problems were not curses to be endured, but puzzles to be solved. They looked at Ramchandra, a man with no degree, and understood that the greatest tool for change was a determined mind. Ramchandra's story teaches us a very important and beautiful lesson. You do not need a lot of money to make a difference. You do not need a fancy degree from a big university to solve a problem. Sometimes the most powerful things in the world are a curious mind that asks, why? And a determined heart that says, I will try. Ramchandra Sharma saw a problem, observed a solution in nature, and used his will to turn a simple idea into a reality that changed the lives of hundreds of people. His story is a reminder that every single person, no matter how simple or poor, has the power to bring light into the world. True change often comes from ordinary people who do extraordinary things. It comes from looking at a flowing stream and seeing not just water but energy. It comes from looking at a pile of scrap and seeing not junk, but opportunity. Ramchandra was just a rickshaw puller, but his legacy is as bright as the lights he brought to his village. He proved that the biggest obstacles can be overcome not with wealth or status, but with observation, courage, and the simple, unwavering belief that you can make things better. And that is a lesson that can inspire us all.